Ladies and gentlemen, what we have right now is a fireside chat. The topic that's going to be discussed right now is navigating advertiser expectations, strategies for brand integration in streaming content. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is going to be chaired by Manas Gulati, co-founder and CEO Arm Worldwide. And to join him on stage, we have Mahib Dwivedi, Vice President and Head of Marketing, Pepperfry.com, and Himanshu Khandelwal, AVP Digital Business, Axis Mutual Fund.
So, I'll just start this conversation by citing some of the movies first in which I've seen some brand integrations, and you guys can chip in and tell me if you remember the brand along with the movie. So, Krish had a brand integration for, yeah, correct. Bonvita was one of the brand integrations with Krish, and then in a recent movie called Jawan, there was another brand integration with Asian Paints, I think. One of those. And do you guys remember the brand integration which happened in the movie Chak De? The fight scene which happens, where does it happen? It happens in McDonald's, if you remember. So those were some of the integrations which happened in the movies. And, and it has also been extended in the scape of OTT platforms and the other things. So I'd like to start this entire conversation by first, asking Himanshu, I'll ask Mahip first. And Mahip, my question to you is, how do you make sure and what are the strategies behind a seamless integration on OTT platforms? And I would also like you to cite 2 examples of the same where you found that it was a seamless integration and it would have lasted in the customers' minds as well.
So good evening, everyone. I think this is a very good question, but I think brand integration goes long way. I remember the first brand integration that I did with commonflow.com. How many of you have seen Permanent Roommates? Right, so we had just launched the app, and the idea was, how do you tell people there is an app, right? Obviously, you can go to an app store, get app installs, but we wanted something which is not, very flashy, but at the same time, people should look at, awareness, brand recall, and it should last long, right? So while, Ola did the second series, whenever I look at that, even now, at the acting specifically, I really enjoy it. But I think brand integration is currently, with let's say a lot of OTTs coming into play. Brands are looking more and more to go not at the advertising route. They are more or less looking at something which can organically go get ingested and give them a brand recall, right? So another good example is Mere Dad Ki Maruti and the whole movie, right? That one red car, I think it was red car, right? So I think that one red car in last film, like that 3 cars, you cannot forget that, it was basically Maruti. And I think there are various examples like that, like, I also like, in Mirzapur 2, there is this, Vivo, Vivo smartphone that they did basically on that note. But today, I think what marketer is looking at, if you are looking at a brand recall, there are various mediums, right? Is it breaking the clutter? Is it basically doing the job of, I think, being there and, and also creating that one image that, it is not intrusive. I think that's a note I would leave that to.
Thank you. So, my question next to you is that you come from a category where trust plays a very important role in the entire thing. And, in the finance space in specific, it is very difficult, if you want to do something like that. So, so in your experience and otherwise, so, would you be able to tell me what are the matrices you use to measure any brand integrations which you do? And do you look at engagement? Do you look at people coming up to the website to do something, and so on and so forth? So.
Thank you. I think this is a very valid question, especially in the BFSI space, where there is a dynamic change in a tectonic shift change in observed in last 5 years, where till 5 years back the focus was used to be more on brand versus performance. The brand now, over the years, the performance is taking more and more pie with the focus exactly on the core thing called business, ultimately the ROI. So with all those things in question, there is a different MFI which is doing their mutual fund of SAE campaigns with very contextualized celebrity-led content, which is not allowed in the typical mutual fund space. So in the overall BFSI, I think the importance of the data and seeing the data and analyzing the data is very critical, and which is that there are multiple ways that we see, and all the BFSI plans say ki what kind of what kind of cohorts that are working. Let's say if there is a particular content that has been integrated, how it is adding, leading to a specific, let's say it's a wide category, mutual fund and banks, BFSI. There are customers who even buy 100 rupees SIP, and there is the same product is bought by a customer who is even buying for 1 crore. So it's very important to create the segments, cohorts, and seeing what kind of impact it is giving on a particular segment, the personalized view experience that is coming, what kind of audience that is getting attached, what kind of engagement that is being seen, if there is a specific with bouquet of multiple products that are there, what kind of impact that is coming in a specific market situation. So there are other external factors which also play a very critical. Let's say Trump wins, and you see instead of global market is fuming, and last 5-7 days, if you have seen, the market is on the downward trajectory. So while we have integrated with some good thought process ki okay, market will keep on rising, but some external factors impacted everything. And so this is where the importance of measuring, how is the behavior change if various external factors impact the overall product positioning. If in some specific scenarios, there could be funds like debt funds, there could be equity, hybrid, and same it goes for other kind categories, including the life insurance and others, where let's say external factors like COVID. So there was a huge surge that was observed during for health insurance and life insurance. So keeping the measurability is very critical for this ultimately.
Sure, sure. I also personally believe that it varies from category to category. Like some of the recent integrations we've seen with Zomato, with Samay Raina, and post that, after, they were a part of Shark Tank, and when Swiggy came in, he pivoted to Kapil Sharma's show, and I think that was one of the best, integrations I've seen like for a long, long time. So it would vary from category to category as well. Like maybe in a category like yours, having a seamless integration might be slightly more difficult than a massy product, like maybe a Swiggy or a Zomato, which is on a day-to-day basis and day-to-day usage. And a comic element there as well. Like, for you, maybe the brand guidelines might not allow you to have those integrations in something, which goes on an OTT platform unless it is very, very serious and topic which is related to the category. So, yeah.
So specifically in the mutual fund, you cannot go always with the disclaimer. So even if you are integrating somewhere, even if you are gifting a gift, then also you have this fixed line mutual fund disclaimer you have to tell. So for us, it's a different challenge altogether with the compliance still in place.
Maybe something which is more of talking about the stock markets and other things and mutual funds, and maybe, but Harshad Mehta pe nahi kar sakte the, but because it was, about the foul play which was there in the entire thing, but definitely otherwise. So my next question is to you, Mahib, is that, we've seen a lot of integrations happening, and you did mention one of the integrations, in your first answer as well. Do you think a brand integration in itself alone is good enough, or, you need a backup and like an integrated plan in and around surround sound, which goes along with it to, bring home the brand salience which a brand wants to bring home?
So I think India has around 547 million users who watch OTT today, right? Out of that, if I look at just subscribed base, basically, technically these are the people who also has money, and maybe these are unique users who will come and buy from you, right? If I look at it saying that, kya inse humko dhanda aane wala hai, right? So, but I think those guys specifically, right? If you want to target those guys, I don't think so. You will be able to cover everyone at the same length and breadth, because it is not cheap, right? The CPMs are costly. But at the same time, even when you want to do it, right? Let's say you choose one OTT, series, and say that, I want to basically go behind and do this. It may go viral, but it will still not give you a coverage. So the point is this, that While this is a good platform, a brand cannot just rely on OTT integration, or let's say a brand integration in OTT as alone measurement. There would always be, digital performance, digital brand, the all the standard channels like YouTube and Google search. I think is never going to end. But with that, I think most importantly, TV, right? TV and CTVs again are two core parts in which OTT has taken over CTV, but still it is not measurable. But I think measurability will come, and maybe there would be a time where TV and OTT may be at par, right? But we are still far away from that. So I think it is still a layer. We should utilize it because it gives you non-intrusive advertisement at the cost that you want. The example of Zomato that you gave us, and I think that's how I would look at it.
Another integration which I really liked was the Unacademy integration with Quota Factory, specifically because it is targeted to a niche segment. It is targeted to students and their parents, and Unacademy seamlessly integrated into the entirety of it. It also depends upon the category. Again, I'm coming back to that. So, my next question, therefore, to you guys is that what are the benefits of brand integration? And I would like 3 keywords from each one of you. Like maybe what are the benefits of brand integration on OTT platforms overall?
So I would say non-intrusive, brand trust, and virality. I think these are the 3 keywords that comes to my mind, because while you are doing an integration, all of these 3 things are being taken care. I think virality depends upon the series, but at the same time, people will still know that this brand exists.
In my mind, there's a slightly longer watch time and the reoccurrence of it again and again, and which I personally think that TVF does it like seamlessly with a recent one of the recent series which we were seeing about a family. They integrated a urban company very, very seamlessly. They integrated IKEA very, very seamlessly, and that's something which went viral as well. Like, you'd see that they would have at least 5 million, 6 million, 7 million reach, and in each of the episodes it was reiterated again and again, but it was not imposed. So, which is what I personally would like about some of the shorter video segments, not the longer video segments, and which is what stayed with me later on, because I would like to associate with a certain lifestyle which is being shown in a, say, like a family like that. And that's something which I would want to bring home, that if I'm doing a new setup or if I'm in a new city, I probably will get IKEA products, at home. Or, if I have anything which is dislodged or maybe a table which has gone wrong, I would use Urban Company as, one of the things which would help me go through it. So that. My last question is, what role would analytics and the learnings from this help you in formulating your future campaigns and future communication which you get out of it? Yep.
So I think data, we all have been saying, listening and talking about it, it's a critical thing for the next generation marketeers and the way it has been. So with AI coming into the picture, even first of all, last till 3 years back, the focus was on data. Now with the added layer of AI, it's not about the data, but adding to that, what is the insightful, actionable things, and automatically we can create to our custom audiences with a more hyper-personalized thing. So the idea of seeing the data is very critical. How is, let's say, particular integration is helping in a brand, multiple ways to measure in terms of what is the brand uplift, what kind of impact it is giving on the targeted audiences, segmented base, how it is positively or direct or indirect impact in giving with the multiple attribution models which are there, coming with multiple sort of analytics player with kind of engagements user are seeing, how's the response with cohorts, the persistency. Ultimately, this boils down to the business metrics. Ultimately, what additional business ROI that is giving versus traditional campaigns that we were doing. So obviously, with data, this gives more up propensity-based models. Ki these are the few things. These are the some actionable insight. These are the few things, trends that are being observed. Let's say if we are doing a sort of integration, a particular, this kind of cohorts giving a better recall to that and ultimately leading to an incremental business.
Sure. Another one to my similar lines. What sort of attribution modeling do you think should be happening whenever there's an integration happening on OTT platforms? And how would you gauge the like plus minus performance of the same?
See, it's a no-brainer. It will be multi-touch attribution. You cannot do a last-click attribution until unless you run a banner on, let's say, any of the OTT platforms. But I think specifically, if you ask me, how will you gauge a performance? All of your metrics among the channel, whether it is native, whether it is performance, you would see your CPCs going down. You would see conversion rates getting improved. When I say improved, it won't improve by 2x, but at least you will see easy conversion is what I mean. Traffic is the lead indicator, so you should see your direct and organic jump depending on the money, obviously, that you spend. 1000 rupees mein nahi hoga, so I think you need to spend some money. But I think the most important thing is we need to leverage the first party data that OTT also has, right? Lot of times brands go to these users saying that, मुझे सिर्फ Kerala dominate करना है because that's a market which I'm not able to gain, right? या मुझे South dominate करना है. Now, how do you dominate that? Now, today, with GAIDs and everything that's already existed with us, they have more deeper data in terms of knowing what is the viewership, what is the liking of the viewership, and I think that is what you want to gauge. At the same time, you should have enough analytics platform to track if it is at a visit level or maybe at an install level, the funnel in terms of one, the parallel things that you anyways run and the efficiencies that you have seen in terms of the lift and the improvement. And the second thing, obviously, which is coming directly from the platform. It may not work with you, but I think T plus 30 day or T plus 60 days is a good window for you to see if somebody has visited, registered, and maybe converting later or coming back, right? Because this is always would be a test run because you will run on CPM, so it's very difficult to say कि उससे business आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, right? So I think this is the crux line that while the data is available, I think utilization of first party data, I mean from the OTTs would actually help you in targeting the right cohorts depending on your need and the category.
Because it would be a slightly upward, like, SECA audience, maybe somebody who has a credit card or a debit card is watching, it on a smart TV as well. So the type of audience you're reaching out is slightly upmarket, also slightly niche as well at the same time. Yeah. And I would also, try to summarize, whatever we discussed here. So first was that, whenever we do an integration on an OTT platform, it should be backed by an integrated plan in and around so that it creates a certain resonance for the brand. And if it is, people walking into the shop floor and otherwise can be gauged, but it will not be other things remaining constant. It would be an overall thing. So that needs to be kept in mind by marketers, while presenting the media plans to, marketers as well, like agencies presenting it to marketers. Also, if we are doing an integration, we also need to see that if we are able to target a specific niche, and if it is a specific niche, then is the integration reaching out to the right set of audience, be it parents, like children, or otherwise? Like I do remember in Gunjan Saxena, there was an integration with Nykaa as well. And so we need to be mindful of that. And, at an overall level, we need to look at the categories also when we are doing those integrations. And of course, it gives a longer viewer time. It is always present whenever somebody is seeing that piece of content again and again. And that's really helpful overall from an OTT standpoint. With that, we conclude our discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Give
Thank
them
you
a
so
big
much,
round of
guys.
applause, please. Thank you.